This video is rated T or Tickle Me Pink. Are you guys interested in making money while you're offline? Leveling your skills significantly faster and getting a stronger PMC? Playing more scav raids in a short period of time to farm money in between tasks? All of these things can easily be achieved by leveling your hideout, and today we're going to talk about some of the endgame perks you get while leveling your hideout, so you can determine out if it's worth investing the money into your hideout to get these rewards. With a lot of these videos I see on YouTube, they kind of treat this as like passive income. They're almost like scuffed financial gurus, except for talking about real money. They're talking about in-game money that wipes every 6 months, and they refer to the hideout as passive income, but it is a steep investment into the hideout. So I just wanted to show off some of the end-game perks you might get if you fully level your hideout. Today we're going to be talking about things like the Bitcoin farm. We'll talk about a little bit on is it worth it. We'll talk about things like the air filtering unit, the library, the Hall of Fame, the skills they go ahead and give, and how you can actually get more out of them. Some of the crafts that are locked behind quests you might want to know about that are like high tier ammunitions, black tip, armor piercing ammunitions, so on and so forth. So kick back, relax, crack yourself open a cold one, and let's talk about the hideout. I just want to quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. Before we go any farther, I actually signed a contract with them where I have boxes to give out to you guys. If you've never had HelloFresh and you live in the US, I can get you guys free food this week. Just go ahead and shoot me a message on Discord. Tell me you're interested in the HelloFresh deal. I also get paid when I give you guys free groceries, so go ahead and get in contact with me. You're doing me a favor. I'm doing you a favor. Let's continue with the video. The first one we need to talk about, and this is by far going to be the lowest level thing we talk about, but that is the gym. No matter how much you dislike the hideout, you're going to want to get the gym up as fast as possible. And the reason for that is the floor starts leaking, the wall starts leaking where you actually expand into the gym. And this is going to give you a debuff on a lot of your stats. For example, making you consume more fuel, going through your energy slower. You're going to actually lose health regeneration. Your raid experience is going to get cut, so you're leveling slower, as well as actually leveling all of your physical skills slower. Now, you can just go ahead and mop this up consistently, but it's going to be a pain in your ass. You don't want to get this fixed, get the gym in. And if you want to end the hideout right there, because none of the other things in this video appease to you, you can. But you just don't want to be playing this game for a long period with this debuff. It's no big deal over the course of a couple days, but over the course of, let's say, a couple weeks, or God forbid, a couple months, you're going to be having an awful time. So I want to knock that out of the way first. Up next, you're going to want to go ahead and get is the Intel Center level 3. So you're going to actually need to play labs to get the level 3 variation, but get level 2 up as fast as possible. And the reason for this, and the primary reason, is it's going to go ahead and lower your flea market commissions, right? So every time you're paying tax on the flea market, it's going to cut that. Level 2, you're going to get a minus 20% to your taxes, which will add up quite tremendously over the course of a wipe. Additionally, if you like to run your scavs, a good money run, or maybe you're doing homework, you have a little downtime, whatever have you, you're running your scav to make quick money, maybe farm some labs key cards, you're just going to go ahead and get your scav cooldown back even faster. If you combine this with the highest scav rep, you can have your scav back like every 6 minutes, which is just insane if you ask me. A weird module that I think we should talk about is actually the weapon rack. So you can basically use the weapon rack as like a pseudo weapons case. It's really nice, honestly. If you need storage, you need more space in your stash, you have a little bit of money to spend, you can just utilize this exactly like a weapons case. You don't have to break down the weapons, and that's what I personally choose to use. If you have space and you don't have money, then it's obviously not worth buying this module. Up next is the water collector and the booze generator. So I would get the water collector up as soon as you possibly can. You can throw water filters in there, get purified water out right now. It just makes a lot of money with your fuel. It's basically like a cheap Bitcoin farm. You don't really have to invest much into it. I would get this up ASAP. Now the booze generator, it's not that important realistically. It can be nice if you find sugar in raid, then you go ahead and eat it down to one use. Go ahead and get your hunger up, and then you make the moonshine out of it. But if you're actually buying the sugar, buying the purified water yourself, it's all priced in, so you're just running it nonstop. You're not really making extra income out of it. You might be making around 5,000 to 10,000 rubles for every moonshine you produce. So it's no big deal, but the water collector is a big deal. Try and get that to level 3 as soon as possible, so you can go ahead and craft those purified waters. They sell for around 200,000 rubles at the time recording this. You can usually get like 1.5 purified waters out of a water filter, and a water filter is only around 30k, so that's a no-brainer. The next item I'm sure everyone wants to know about is the Bitcoin farm. Is it worth getting up? So graphics cards are quite expensive right now. At the time of recording this, they're going for around 750,000 rubles. So what you need to know about the Bitcoin farm is it worth it? Is kind of a broad statement, and it literally changes every single hour of the day. as we get closer to wipe. To go ahead and determine if the Bitcoin farm is worth it for you, you can calculate how many graphics cards you want to buy versus how many days left in the wipe there probably are, and it's usually aggregated against kind of like a 6-month wipe cycle. What I would say is, realistically, if you're watching this video at this point, it is not worth it to build the Bitcoin farm if you're going to purchase the graphics cards from the flea market. And the reason for that is, just like the real life stock market, it's already priced in. Graphics cards are at 750,000 rubles each. If you go ahead and buy 50 of them, it's going to take a long time before you go ahead and start profiting. But one thing that works really well in your favor here is the way the Bitcoin farm works is it gives diminishing returns for every single graphics card. So the first graphics card you put in your Bitcoin farm is going to net you far more Bitcoins than, let's say, the last one. So what does that mean for you? Well, inevitably, you guys are going to find graphics cards. You are going to put them in your gamma containers. But guess what? Sometimes you will die. And those non-found and raid graphics cards should go straight into the Bitcoin farm. Make sure you keep those suckers and just put it in there. And that way you're going to go ahead and get Bitcoins. Sure, you're not going to get the maximum amount of Bitcoins, but you are going to be generating Bitcoins. For me personally, the only reason that I went ahead and built the Bitcoin farm is because I had around 20 million rubles sitting around on the first week, and I just needed to buy something to actually go ahead and utilize that cash and invest it. And graphics cards were only 200,000 rubles at the time. If I had the same money right now and didn't have the Bitcoin farm, I would not buy those graphics cards. So you can use that to make your own decision on if you should go ahead and purchase those or not. I would strongly not recommend it, but it's up to you. Up next is the Scav Case. So the Scav Case is actually an item that I tried to rush relatively fast because early on in a wipe, things like Intel and Moonshine, they're just not very expensive. And these are two of the items you can go ahead and utilize to fund your scavs to go out there and find you loot. If you don't know, using like a Moonshine will bring you back a lot of streamer items, some rare items. Using things like an Intel will bring you back stims, weapons, and keys. So I was just running Intel through this until recently, non-stop, because I could get Intel for below 300k. When I first built it, I was getting as low as 100k, and I got that for around 2 weeks, and until a lot of players started to get the Scav Case, in which case Intel really started to spike up. Now, I was collecting found and raid Intel because I knew they would spike up, and then just buying Intel off the flea market. And just yesterday, I went ahead and sold 30 Intel folders for 320k each, and I've quit running the Scav Case from now on. I could just go ahead and throw the 95k option in there, and it's just like a fun, like, let's see what they bring me back. However, I'm no longer running Intel and Moonshine at 24/7. Now, just like the Bitcoin farm, like I recommend you guys go ahead and utilize your non-found and raid graphics cards. If I grab an Intel, let's say on customs, I'm not worried about dying. I put it in my gamma container, and if I die, then I just run it through the Scav Case. And just like those graphics cards of Bitcoin, these are priced in already by the market, the Escape From Tarkov market, if you will. But you'll see they'll generally sit around that 300k price, because they'll average around 300k every time you run one of those Intels. So if you're choosing to buy Intels later on when they're at this price, then you're really just hoping to get lucky. You could lose money, you could make money. Aggregated over an entire wipe, you're probably just going to break even. So it might not be worth it for you to go ahead and build this case. If you're having a hard time with samples in your stims, this could help you a little bit. Although I'd be happy to help you. I'll take you to Black Key Card on Labs, and we can probably complete that quest in 1 or 2 raids. I don't mind. I love helping you guys out. Just make sure you join the Discord down below. There's a lot of good people in there. If I personally can't help you, there's a plethora of people that are happy to help you in there. Alright, the next thing I want to touch base on is all of our leveling bonuses. So this is the air filtering unit, the library, as well as the Hall of Fame. So before we touch base on each of these, I want to go ahead and show you guys a skill in game. So as you progress throughout the wipe and Escape from Tarkov, you're actually going to go ahead and level up your hideout management skill. So you're going to level up this skill by just spending fuel, spending water filters. Just using your hideout will level it. Going ahead and actually making modules in your hideout will also level it. But you'll see we actually get this buff right here. Increase all percentage bonuses from hideout zones by 15%. So when you go to make yourself an air filtering unit, it will give you 40% physical bonuses whenever there's a filter present in the air filter. But you'll see here, I'm getting 46% increased physical skills because it's getting modified by that hideout management skill. And just like spending fuel, spending water filters, spending these filters is also leveling that skill. So that's why, for example, I always leave my power on. So not only am I farming Bitcoins, but I'm leveling my hideout management skill by just spending fuel and spending these filters, which in turn is going to go ahead and make me level faster. And that buff applies to the air filtering unit, the library, and the Hall of Fame. So We were talking about the filtering unit. We saw that it goes ahead and increases my skill group leveling by 46%. Physical. What does that mean? How can you tell what skills are going to be leveled? So if you come here into your skills, you'll see a pH right here. All of these are physical skills, right? If we come down here, you'll see P. These are all practical skills, and this is going to be something that the library goes ahead and buffs. So surgery, covert movement, search, mag drills, all being buffed up by the library here. And then if we go ahead and look at the Hall of Fame, it's going to go ahead and give us combat bonuses. So if we look at all the weapon skills, assault rifles, these are all combat skills by the red seed denote next to them. Things like recoil control skill, aim drills, all of these are combat skills. And that means they're all just going to level faster. The library has another bonus. You're going to be getting additional raid experience. So let's say you're just getting headshots on scavs. Say you kill a lot of scavs, you kill bosses, you get 10,000 experience. Just by having this built, you're going to turn that into 12,000 experience. 100% worth getting the library no matter what if you're far enough along into the hideout that you don't need to buy too many modules to get it. As you don't need to keep filters in it, you don't need to keep the power on, anything. It's just always giving you more experience, helping you level up, helping you get max level traders. Or maybe you're beyond max level traders and you want to get to like level 50 to unlock the quest booze, so on and so forth, or maybe long line so you can get those level 6 plates for free. If you haven't seen how I get level 6 armored plates for free, go ahead and watch my armor video. I'll have that linked in the top right now. So without a doubt, make sure you get the library if you're close to it. The air filtering unit I think is 100% worth it. Leveling up your strength and endurance is massive. This gets you to high tier loot before other players. The stamina buff by having high endurance is huge, namely for the arm stamina. Keeping your weapon shouldered for longer, not getting tired, will help you tremendously. And you won't have to manage your stamina as much as when you have the low endurance skill. Unfortunately, this wipe, with the changes to plates and armor, you're almost always overweight in raid. So you're not literally training your endurance as much. You'll see right now on my kit, I'm at 35 kilos. And you'll know you're training strength when this number is yellow. It's a little hidden tip. You actually make more noise in game when this is yellow. It doesn't scale based on your weight. It's just more, are you overweight or not? If you're overweight, you're going to make more noise and you're going to train strength. If this is gray, you're actually training endurance and you're making the normal amount of noise. So that's why, for example, my endurance is level 22, but my strength is level 41. And as you level strength, you can carry more. So inevitably they should balance out. But now you know how that works. We were talking about the gym earlier. Just make sure you're hitting the gym every single day. A lot of people don't know you can actually hit the gym twice. Hit it once, then hit it twice. You're going to get half points on the second go around. You're going to get severe muscle pain. Go ahead and do this and then do it every 24 hours. So you're leveling that strength, endurance, and health as much as you possibly can. The last bonus we get is the Hall of Fame. Now, the Hall of Fame is actually quite expensive and does not give as many combat bonuses I'd like to see. We're on tier 3 Hall of Fame, and you'll see we have it filled with all level 40 tags at least. So what I'll say is if you're going for cap, the Hall of Fame can be nice. You can see you're actually going to keep a lot of your rare items in here. You can almost treat this as an items case for a lot of your cap items. And if you play a lot, 5% combat bonuses will go ahead and level you up a decent amount over the entire wipe. If you're going to play the entirety of the wipe, you're going to be level 60. You're going to play a lot. The Hall of Fame is probably worth it if you're a Kappa player. If you're not, it's really not a big deal, and you can just save money on this module. I really wouldn't spend money on it, as you need to upgrade it 3 times as well to even get, these minuscule bonuses, and then go ahead and kill those high-level players. This is really for someone who's going to be a complete nerd and not go outside like myself. One of the reasons why I actually didn't unlock solar power was so I could go ahead and spend more fuel in my stash and actually get that hideout management skill up even faster. So like I said, we're going to be going ahead and getting more skills, more physical skills, more combat skills, more memory skills from things like the air filtering unit, the library, and the Hall of Fame. And by spending fuel, we're leveling that hideout management skill. So once we go ahead and get solar power, it's going to lower how much hideout management skill we're getting to an extent. If you combine this with what I told you earlier, where the Bitcoin farm actually gets exponentially less returns from every graphics card, then for me it was a no-brainer to really cut off around the 25 graphics card mark when I could buy them in at a cheap value. And then now I'll just go ahead and upgrade solar power when I have my hideout management skill to a level that I'm happy with, and I'll go ahead and slot in all my non-found and red graphics cards into that Bitcoin farm. In this video, we didn't really touch base on like a lot of basic modules, like say like generator, heating station, etc. And that's because you're going to have to go ahead and build those modules if you want to get the other high-end modules, like things like the air filtration unit in here. We can quickly touch base on a few of them, like the med station. So med station 3 can be really nice, namely to craft propital. So if you want to pop a pre-painkiller before you get in combat, if you're going to fight, I like to use Golden Star and ibuprofen. Run these down to 1 use, and then you can go ahead and craft these into 7 propital, and then you're basically just getting your propital for free. If you guys are interested, I can go ahead and release an injector's case guide into this game, and there are a plethora of stims to utilize in the game. There's around 30 different stims in the game that can all save your life, but it's one item that can realistically up your survival rate by as much as like 5%, and I think it's seriously undervalued by the community. So let me know if you'd want to see a video like that in the comments down below. But that's basically free propital for you if you have med station 3. In the workbench 3, you'll have a few choices for like AP ammunition. Now, most of these crafts are already priced in, so you're not going to really go ahead and make much money here. You can find a few items here and there that'll make you money, but it's just not a big deal to me. However, after completing some quests, you will get some high tier ammunition. So for example, after level 45 and headshotting some scavs, you can craft 7.62 by 39 BP. After doing the quest, your car needs a service. You can go ahead and craft 55A1. You cannot buy this from traders at all anymore. So if you're a big fan of 5.56, the workbench tree is going to be your spot, and just make sure you do that quest. But there's not a whole lot to say about the workbench other than that. And then with the laboratory, the only thing I really find myself crafting are these air filters. You can actually go ahead and pull out your water filters from your water filtration unit when they only have like 1 use or so left, and then go ahead and turn them into air filters. I would try and get these gas mask air filters for around 10k, but people are starting to catch on to this trade, so I've been seeing them go as high as around 30 to 40k now. Just depends on the time of the market. Other than that, you can go ahead and use your empty blue fuel cans and gray fuel cans and turn them into grenades cases and magazine cases respectively, to effectively make it so you're just cutting even on your fuel. You're not really spending any money on your fuel there. If you want to see a full list of every single item you're going to need to level your hideout to max level in Escape from Tarkov, I'll have that over on my Twitch under !hideout. Just navigate over there. It'll be the first link in the description. Make sure you join the Discord while you're down there. And this has been your full guide to the hideout in Escape from Tarkov.